Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, voice you know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution. I'm Dale Menyo. U.S. stocks soared to one of their best days in history on the euphoric Wall Street Wednesday after President Donald Trump said he would back off on most of his tariffs temporarily, as investors had so desperately hoped he would. The S&P 500 surged 9.5%, an amount that would count as a good year for the market. It had been sinking earlier in the day on worries that Trump's trade war could drag the global economy into a recession, but then came the posting on social media that investors worldwide had been waiting and wishing for. I have authorized a 90-day pause, Trump said, after recognizing the more than 75 countries that he said have been negotiating on trade and had not retaliated against his latest increases in tariffs. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent later told reporters that Trump was pausing his so-called reciprocal tariffs on most of the country's biggest trading partners, but maintaining his 10% tariff on nearly all global imports. China was a huge exception, though, with Trump saying tariffs are going up to 125% against its products. That raises the possibility of more swings ahead that could stun financial markets. The trade war is not over, and an escalating battle between the world's two largest economies can create plenty of damage. U.S. stocks are also still below where they were just a week ago when Trump announced worldwide tariffs in what he called Liberation Day. But on Wednesday, at least, the focus on Wall Street was the positive. The Dow Jones Industrial shot to a gain of 2,962 points, or 7.9%. The NASDAQ Composite leaped 12.2%. And the S&P 500 had its third best day since World War II. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
A little damp here as we move through your Thursday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at that Ohio Ag weather update. We had a little moisture try and push into the state overnight last night. Still dealing with that lingering just a bit this morning, especially in southern parts of Ohio. There's a secondary batch of moisture off to the west that might try and make a run at us, but I don't think it hits us directly. I'll say through the day today, we probably have to keep the door open to another spit or a sprinkle even after this initial morning stuff is done. Temperatures are going to be holding in okay, call them seasonal, but colder air is on the move. We are much chillier for tomorrow, Friday, but I do think we see decent sunshine potential. For the weekend, Saturday is mostly sunny but cool. Then Sunday warms up with that mild air coming in from the south and southwest. That lays the groundwork for a little bit of precipitation on Monday. I'm looking for hit-and-miss scattered showers for the late Monday afternoon, Monday night time frame. Coverage around 30% of Ohio. Quarter to 3/4 of an inch can happen there. Behind it, we are chilly for the middle part of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, before temperatures climb on Good Friday. Those climbing temperatures are ahead of a frontal boundary that brings rain anywhere from 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch for Good Friday, the 18th, and then we dry down for the rest of the Easter holiday weekend. That's a look at your forecast update. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Brian. Let's check in now with our weekly update from the Ohio Soybean Council and your checkoff dollars at work. Here's Dusty Sonnenberg.
I'm visiting today with Tom Berry with Clean Fuels Alliance America. Some exciting things going on the demand side when it comes to renewable fuels. Give us an update maybe of some of the neat things that are happening with shipping, with rail, with all those types of things.
Yeah, absolutely, Dusty. That's the exciting part, equation of the supply and demand of our industry right now. I've been around biodiesel for 30 years. I've never seen the opportunities look so good for biodiesel than I do today. And we're seeing new industries, new markets are looking to use biodiesel to help decarbonize their supply chain. I know Ohio Soybean is working with our petroleum team on some Great Lake shipping companies to get biodiesel on the Great Lakes, which is real exciting. And we're also working with the Class 1 railroads like Norfolk Southern. They've all committed to decarbonization goals. They see biodiesel as the fuel they want to use to get to reach their carbon goals. So I know Norfolk Southern, I'm sure they run through Ohio quite a bit. Yep. They want to get to 20% biodiesel blends in a relatively short period of time, 5-6 years. You know, they just started, they're at 3% already. So very exciting times. And then the home heating oil market in the Northeast, we're seeing train loads of biodiesel also leave the Midwest, head to the Northeast to supply them for bioheat. So they got a lot of pressure to decarbonize the home heat industry. And so there's a lot of opportunities there as well.
My guest again today is Tom Veary with Clean Fuels Alliance America. Today's update brought to you by the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff.
And thanks, Dusty. Republican lawmakers in the U.S. Senate introduced legislation on Tuesday that would strike down California's animal welfare law created as a result of Proposition 12, drawing support from the nation's largest pork interest groups. Legislation introduced in the U.S. Senate on Tuesday would nullify California's animal welfare law stemming from the passage of Proposition 12. The Food Security and Farm Protection Act, introduced by Senators Charles Grassley of Iowa, Joni Ernst of Iowa, and Roger Marshall of Kansas, would prevent any state or local government from passing laws that interfere with commerce and agricultural practices outside their jurisdictions. Proposition 12 makes it a criminal offense and civil violation to sell whole pork meat in California unless the pig it comes from is born to a sow that was housed within 24 square feet of space and conditions that allow a sow to turn around without touching an enclosure. Proposition 12 applies to any uncooked pork sold in the state, regardless of whether it was raised in California. In January of 2025, 23 states joined the Iowa Pork Producers Association in an appeal to the Supreme Court challenging Proposition 12. The pork industry continues to fight the law, which it says is discriminatory because it regulates pig farming practices across the country. One of the key features of the 4-page bill introduced this week is it would allow ag producers to bring legal actions against states like California to invalidate such regulations and to seek damages for economic law. National Pork Producers Council President, you've heard of him, Dwayne Statler, a pork producer from Macomb, Ohio, said the legislation was timely for hog producers who have been struggling in a down farm economy. U.S. pork producers have just suffered the worst 18 months of financial losses in history, and many farm families are contemplating whether they can pass along their farm to the next generation, Statler said. Let's check in on a couple deadlines coming up. With everything you have on your to-do list, it can be easy to forget about signing up for your USDA programs. FSA's Agriculture Risk Coverage, ARC, and Price Loss Coverage, referred to as PLC, are two key safety net programs created to protect farmers from significant losses due to fluctuating in crop prices or revenue. Don't delay. You must make elections and enroll by April 15th. We're getting really close. Reach out to your local FSA office soon. Be sure to make the most of your office visit by signing up for the key FSA programs, including the new Emergency Commodity Assistance Program, checking on loan activity, and learning more about disaster assistance programs. To apply or learn more about eligible commodities, visit the Farm Service Agency ARC and PLC webpage or contact the FSA at your local USDA Service Center. And it looks like in partnership with the Ohio State University Extension, 4-H Youth Development, and Ohio State College of Veterinary Medicine, the Ohio Beef Youth Council is offering 2 Beef Youth Days. The Beef Youth Days are scheduled for May 17th at the OSU Columbus campus and May 31st at the OSU ATI Worcester campus. Sessions will begin at 8:30 in the morning and run until 3 p.m. Youth ages from 8 to 21 will be welcome, and their parents are invited to attend as well. There is a registration fee to attend, and it does include lunch. The program will be the same at both locations and will cover important beef industry topics for different age divisions. There will also be hands-on sessions with participants being able to engage and evaluate their knowledge and skill in the beef industry. Registration is now open and will remain open until May 1st. Learn more about the Ohio Beef Youth Days and register at www.ohiocattle.org. And be sure to join Dusty at midday today. He'll be down in Perry County on the Dennis Farm, and he'll be there with the latest on the programs for the Field Leader, a project of the Ohio Soybean Council. So join Dusty at midday. Well, today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Give them a call to find out more about marketing your beans to LDC. Call them at 574-566-2113. With today's analysis, here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished higher on Wednesday in a whipsaw trading day. The markets were shrugging off some of the headlines that started the day. We started with 104% tariff on Chinese goods that went into effect at 12:01. China announced retaliations going to 84% on U.S. goods coming in. Then at the middle or early afternoon part of the day, everything just kind of unraveled. Ahead of that, we had seen the stock market trading floppily around, but mostly lower. Crude oil down big. The grains were shrugging it all off. But then we had a 90-day pause announced by the Trump administration, and the markets just went gangbusters. 90-day pause on tariffs for anyone who's doing negotiations right now, trying to get trade deals worked out. It goes to 10% tariffs on anybody that's doing negotiations, except for China. China actually was increased to 125% tariff by the Trump administration in the same announcement that put the 90-day pause on all the others. So the trade war continues to be an interesting one nonetheless, but the markets took off after that. Saw corn, beans, and wheat all in the green, but beans are gaining the most, up 17 to 20 cents. And then we saw the stock market just take off to the upside as well. Huge day green. Crude oil came along for the ride as well. So it was definitely an interesting day. Now, does that mean that we've finished the week on this same kind of note? Absolutely not. Thursday has another round of headlines. Who knows what they will be, but I can tell you the WASDE report is going to be part of that. Supply and demand coming out at midday on Thursday. Expectations are we see a little bit of a demand boost on the balance sheet on corn. Probably not seeing anything on soybeans and wheat right now. I think the supply and demand numbers will be somewhat not important given everything else, but we also need to pay attention to stocks. It sounds like basis is starting to get kind of crazy on the interior, both corn and beans, looking across the eastern Corn Belt back across the Mississippi to the west. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Back with more after this. Attention, Ohio businesses. Join the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation for the 2025 Ohio Safety Congress and Expo, April 16th through the 18th at the Greater Columbus Convention Center. Connect with industry experts, have hands-on training sessions, explore cutting-edge safety solutions with over 300 exhibitors. Whether you're looking to reduce risks, enhance productivity, or build a stronger safety culture, the Ohio Safety Congress is for you. Register at www.ohiosafetycongress.com. It's free. Today's market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Overnight at the open, May corn up 1.5 at 475.5. December new crop up 1 at 451 3/4. Carried all the way to March, you're at 464 up 1. May soybeans up 7 1/4 at $10.20. November $10 3 3/4, up 6 3/4, and January up 5 3/4, now at $10.16. The July wheat is 558, up 2 1/4. September up 2 at 571 3/4, and December up 2 at 593 3/4. In livestock, at the close, we had April cattle at $202.80, up $3.70. June up $4.75 at $198.37, and August at $195 even. That's up $4.55. The only minus in livestock came in April lean hogs, down 85 cents at $86.97. May up $1.52 at $86.12, and June $1.92 higher at $91.70. May feeder cattle up $6.47 to $278.20. August feeder cattle up $5.65 at $283.25, and September feeder cattle $5.27 higher at $283.45. That's the latest look at the markets. We're looking for an exciting day today just to see how things swing after all the news and information, and we'll move on from there. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, everyone. I'm Dale Menyo. This is the Ohio AgNet.